These are prophetic downloads that happens during this lunation or during an activation portal, that I just channel those messages that the Divine Spirit has for the collective, and they're timeless. So whenever you're running across this information, you can apply this to your life in some way or facet. Happy new moon, everyone. Minister Ashley here, and I'm going to take you on a journey of this lunation. We're going to dive into some of the astrological movements. We're going to dive into some of the symbolism, the tarot, etc. This new moon marks the new year. We're welcoming in 2025, the year of 9, and I will have an additional video coming really soon that will dive into 2025 energy. So make sure that you do like, share, and subscribe. Check all the links down in the description box. Okay, so let's get into this energy first here. This is the closing of 2024, which was the year of 8, which is the internal work, the framework. I think of bones, like the skeletal system. And Capricorn does rule the skeletal system. But the thing about this is, like, what I feel like that happened in 2024 for many people, a good portion of the collective, is if we're taking this to the skeletal system, that a lot of bones were broken. But when they were broken, they were reset in the right place. So if anybody knows anything about a broken bone, a bone is broken, but you can't just put a cast on a broken bone. You have to set it in place, and then you put the cast on so it can heal properly. So with many of the collective, myself also included, that we are the generational breakers, where we break a lot of the generational curses in our family's history. So think about, if in this analogy of broken bones, that our previous generations, like our parents, our grandparents, and even maybe extended to the great-grandparents, I even hear for some even beyond, that the bone was broken, but it was never set in the right place. So what is happening through this portal, as it happens gradually over time, the same way how a bone heals over time, it doesn't just heal like that, it heals over time. That Capricorn, this new moon is solidifying the bones that were broken, especially this past couple of years in 2024, as it was the year of 8, which represents as above, so below, as we thought, so we acted out. And that was from generations past, and as within, so without. So we had to be changed from the inside out. And as we were transformed through this year of 8, which is also, the 8 is also a transformative number, represents transformation, that as we move into 2025, the year of 9, that without going too much into that energy, that in my notes I have here, holy fire reign with the 2029. And once again, I don't want to go too deep into that message, but overall, what the Divine Spirit is saying is that this is the mile marker, or this is a transition period from having that bone, those bones that were broken, and that you were going through that healing process, that as you pass through this threshold, let's slow down. As we pass through this threshold, that our bones have been reset, and now it's time for that growth to happen. And for some of us, we have seen some growth, but this is rapid fire growth, like a whole lot of tangibles that we will see that happened over the last several years, that was unfolding in the spiritual realms, that we will see it play out in our lives. This lunation happens on December 30th, okay? And that's another 3 energy, as we have 3 3s that are represented in the number 9. And ironically, that this lunation happens in the ninth degrees of Capricorn. And I feel like a lot of fire energy. The last lunation that we had, which was in Sagittarius season, that fire is still burning really bright and heavy and hot. And fire is like that transformation too. It's like the transfiguration. It's like the representation of one of the representations of the Holy Spirit. And that's the transformative nature of the Holy Spirit, okay? And these are prophetic downloads that happens during this lunation or during an activation portal, that I just channel those messages that the Divine Spirit has for the collective, and they're timeless. So whenever you're running across this information, you can apply this to your life in some way or facet, whether it be an activation or something that is happening during Capricorn, or you're a Capricorn, or whenever. I have muted my phone several times, but the bells, when I say certain things, it just keeps going off. So that could be something for someone. Here we have the 8, and I feel like this is what was happening on the bottom of the deck. This is what was happening over this past year, and even for, I hear, a decade. Putting in that hard work and not seeing the tangible evidence for the hard work that was poured out, blood, sweat, and tears. So going back to this lunation, it happens in the first decan of Capricorn, which is ruled by Saturn, and Saturn is the authoritative figure of the zodiac. I hear it represents the crone, which is the wise mother, but more so it represents also the father. And the father, it could have been a very stern energy. It could have, like this, putting in the hard work, like someone, you're putting in the hard work, and it's someone, you see the shadow right here, the shadow self is back there. Like this could have been like a nagging father or a nagging mother, or some figure in your life that was very hard on you, and this was the voice that was playing over and over like a cassette player in your head that caused you to be very hard and harsh on yourself. So this energy, going back to Saturn, so Saturn ruled, but it also is co-ruled by Jupiter. So the Jupiter, it represents, it is the energy that rules over Sagittarius, the season that we just left out of. Okay, so what the divine spirit is saying here, and I look at these two numbers, is 10. It's a completion of a cycle in a new generation that is coming through. Someone could be birthing something completely, I hear, irate or erotic or ironic, and that has many meanings to it. But I need to focus on this, that the opportunity to build long-lasting generational wealth, prosperity. I even hear parental. It's like a new psychology in parental realms. So what the divine spirit is saying with that is what you psychologically thought and played out in your life, that you were having a new parental voice in your head. So this is replacing the voice of that harsh parent and replacing it with the generous father, which is represented by Jupiter. Jupiter is like Jehovah in the Bible. It is like the jolly green giant. It is like Santa Claus, fulfilling all the wishes and commands and demands of the flesh. So you are having the opportunity to expand your wisdom, but also to expand on this prosperity, this abundance that is that you are due, pretty much. It's not like you have to really do something per se, because it's already your birthright, but it's like you have been so okay, so a couple of different things. Wishy-washy, like going back and forth between like, oh God, oh yeah, God loves me, well, but God must hate me. I must have did something wrong. This is that parental figure in your head, whether it may have been a actual parent or either just that voice that you got from somewhere. Somebody was saying something in your head that could have been from childhood that you still play out in your head, like, oh no, this won't happen. I don't deserve this. I'm not worthy. But yet I am worthy, going back and forth, that double-mindedness. Okay. And you put in the hard work, and now you are being rewarded. So you don't have to really do something per se. Like I think a lot of times that we may struggle with, like, I have to do this. I have to go hard. I have to do so much stuff. I have to, I have to go through so many struggles before I'm blessed. But it's like you don't have to you don't have to necessarily do that or go through a whole lot of hard times. I keep on muting it, but it's not muting. Okay. So it's your birthright. You're going to have it regardless. Okay. And you're putting yourself through all this extra turmoil, but God is saying it is for you. It is for you. What I also see is a transfer of wealth, a transfer of energy. So generational transferring of wealth, that from one hand to the next, this could happen in a myriad of ways. From someone winning something to someone inheriting some type of property and or finances. And this also comes with an up level of responsibility and mentality, okay? Because once again, you're not just affecting yourself. You have your ancestors that are cheering from you from the background, but you also have people that are depending on you in the foreground, meaning like generations past and then generations forward, because your decision, you are like the pivotal point. If you look at a seesaw, for example, in the middle, you're the piece that is holding everything together. So you have your ancestors that are depending on you. They're giving you the tools, that are rooting for you, that are sending you protection and energetics and messages, etc. Then you have the future you and the future generations that are depending on you, that you hold their future in your hands, pretty much. Okay. Okay, give me a second. All right. Another thing that is happening is that Chiron, the wounded warrior that is in the sign of Aries, that was retrograde for the past 5 months, is now going direct on the very same day. And that is going to build your self-confidence. That is going to give you a new foundation, okay? So I'm going to pull another card from the tarot, okay? I hear beneficiaries and inheritance. You need to, okay, pause. All right, hold on. I'm gonna pull this card, but hold on. Okay, so just yesterday, I ran across a message about you're going to be blessed with generational wealth or something like that. And I sort of started to listen to it, and then the Divine Spirit started to speak to me. And it was like a vision of visions that I've had since I was a little kid, but it's like clarification. So over the years, you may have been receiving clarification and direction about some type of blessing, some major blessing that's going to come into your life, and you were spoon-fed that information, that clarification, because you weren't responsible and able enough to handle it previously. So God had to spoon feed you, and that's what's happening. So you have been given a little responsibility, but now you're going to be given even more responsibility, because at that pivotal point that you're going to be ready for that shift to happen. And so with that, the clarification, maybe you should be taking notes. Maybe you should be keeping a journal of these downloads that are happening, whether it be in the dream realms or either in the physical waking realms, sign synchronicities. All of that is pertinent, because when this shift happens, it's going to be like bow, and it's going to happen very quickly. You're going to need to be ready. Here we have the King of Wands, so some type of action. This could represent a player in your life. Take it how it resonates, whether it be a player like player, or whether it be a player like somebody that's going to be on your team. That is one of the things that was downloaded yesterday. Is like, you have to weed out these new team players. Not everybody you're going to be able to take to the promised land. Remember that. Moses was not able to go into the promised land, and he has like a lot of facets that are connected to him, but one of them is the fire energy. One of them is the staff and the rod. And he wasn't able to go into the promised land because he misused his spiritual gifts. He misused his tools, his wand, the wrong way. Okay, you can learn more about, biblical figures, magic, and divination from my latest book, The Bible's Hidden Divination and Magic, available on Amazon. Oh, I'm getting so excited. Tongue twister. Available on Amazon as well as on all of my other platforms. Okay, all right, so let's get back into it. All right, so you need to learn how to properly use your spiritual gifts. That's what this training has been happening pretty much since birth and even before birth, but especially picking up even more as you get closer to this blessing, as you get closer to this, like it's like the new year, probably the New Year's, because what I see is like a ball dropping. So it could be some type of instance or download or something that happens when the ball drops, New Year's. Or it could just be when like this event. I don't know what the event is. It's just like what it feels like. It's like a major epiphany and breakthrough. So it's like an epiphany mentally and in all facets, all levels, psychologically, physically. Every part of you upgrades. That's what it feels like. And when that happens, it's like, it's go time. Like I don't know why I'm thinking about like RoboCop or Terminator or something. It's like when that light comes on, when that ball drops, or when this instance happens, like this instant download or upgrade or upgrade that is like you're completely different. If you know the story of RoboCop, like he was a human at first, but he died in combat, okay, doing what he was called to do. And they put him back together. They took his consciousness and parts of his body and they added it with AI. So that's the type of situation. Not talking about you're going to be part AI, but what I'm saying, like the AI him, the parts of him was the upgrade. And that's what's happening. Like you could be classified as a superhuman eventually, because people will say like, oh my gosh, that person, I used to know them. They used to go to my school and they were maybe the nerd, or maybe they were the athlete, or whatever they were, whatever, you know, your title was. But now look at them. They're doing amazing things. They're like a completely different person. This could also be someone that's transforming their looks. And whether it be through medical means, or it's through diet, reshaping your mind, thinking different, because all of those expressions show up on your face and they weigh out and play out in your body. So let's continue on. Let me look at my notes. All right, so abundance, growth, optimism, transference that's happening. So let's go into what is being healed. What has been healed over the past 5 months. Another thing about Capricorn, you can see Christ, the archetype, the different archetypes of Christ in all 12 of the zodiac signs. But with Capricorn, it's the cornerstone. The cornerstone, and I have a video about that. Gosh, I got a lot of cards here. I have a video about the cornerstone, but briefly, the cornerstone is the stone that a major structure is built on. So you are the cornerstone of your family. So off of the labor, so the ground would represent, the breaking of the ground will represent your ancestors that went before you, that laid the groundwork, okay? Catch this analogy. You are the cornerstone that future generations will build upon, okay? So it took a solid, sturdy ground, ancestors, the cornerstone, you, and those that are in your soul family at this specific time in history, and then the major structure that you are going to be built upon. Like, so it took all of that. It took the ancestors and your willingness to be obedient and still and steadfast to build on top of you, okay? And you're on top of your ancestors and your sturdy foundation that helps to keep you solid as a rock, okay? Catch the analogies, okay? Oh gosh, there's so many downloads that just happened just that quick, okay? It took you being steadfast in the vision and your spiritual groundedness, and you building in your spiritual gifts and being sturdy in that, the ground, your ancestors, spiritual gifts, all of that is represented by the ground, okay? And that is what keeps you solidified as the cornerstone, because the cornerstone is what holds all the weight. How can you handle all of this weight? It's because you have a sturdy ground that is also represented by, you know, God, spiritual gifts, and your ancestors in order for it to build. And this monument is so big that it can be seen from so far. So think about the Tower of Babel, sort of like that, how big it was. But the caveat with the Tower of Babel, the Tower of Babel is that keeping your attitude in check with all of the successes that you're about to experience. The Tower of Babel, I could go into, you know me, I can go into the symbolism, all that stuff. But one thing that the Divine Spirit is saying now is that as you continue to rise and be built up, okay, and be in a spotlight, that you have to keep a sense of meekness, not humble. Humble means to dim one's light. You want your light to shine, because the light that is within you is the Holy Spirit. It is the sacrifices that your ancestors made, okay? It is the sacrifices that you've been making. All right. So you don't want to be humble. You want to be meek. That means that you are submitting yourself unto the will of God. And as your tower grows and you are seen by more people from further back. So imagine how tall the Empire State Building is. If it was this tall, how many people would be able to see it? But the taller the building is, the further back, the further back people can see it off in the distance. So that means that you also become a target. But the thing is that by being grounded, that you're protected. Okay, so you have a sense of balance that's happening. Okay, now what knocked down the Tower of Babel was the arrogance. All right, the arrogance. And when I say arrogance, I think of a fragrance that someone could have clairsentient gifts. That could be one of their spiritual gifts, but it's also a sense of like I have here the devil card. All right, it's like the spiritual forces can smell your attitude on you. Okay, with the strength card in reverse. So the beast, animals have a prominent sense of smell. So this is representing here with this whole situation here. It represents like the animalistic nature of man, the untamed nature of man. So you have to be like this, the upright strength, exhibit spiritual discipline and physical discipline over your animal nature. Okay. With the symbolism, I've done a video breakdown of this card. And with the devil card, this is just amplifying this message. It's like you have to be on harmony with, your fleshly desires, but you have to you have to allow your mind and your spirit to overrule your fleshly desires. That's why fasting and prayer, meditation, all that stuff, and discipline are very important. Okay. So I have here the 6 of coins in the reverse, along with the devil card, justice card, and the strength in reverse. Okay, so what is happening is an up level I hear. An up level by uprooting the old. So you already went through that. You went through the uprooting. Those roots were dead. You know, a tree is as tall as the roots are under the ground where people can't see it. So your tree wasn't but so tall, okay? And it's because the roots were stunted. The roots were rotten. But the divine spirit has uprooted those roots over the past several years. Now you have fresh roots that are grounded, and now they're expanding rapidly. Okay, so you have to be in homeostasis. You have to be in balance. You cannot be too far in the animal mind, meaning wandering, letting your mind wander. You have to have a strong sense. Now, turning the strength card upright, the strong sense of an animal, meaning like your senses. You know how sensitive a lion, a lioness, hunters, like animal hunters are? They have to be in tune with what's going on with the entire environment. They have to use all of their senses. Otherwise, they become someone's prey, or they miss their food. Okay, they miss their opportunity. They miss their substance. Catch the analogies in this reading, okay? All right, because man, I'm telling you, if you miss this opportunity, what I see in my head is, what is that, revolving door? You know, you go to like a big, huge building, like an office building, a fancy office building or whatever, hotel, and you are trying to walk through that revolving door. But if you walk at the wrong time, the door will squish you, okay? So, and you have to wait for another opportunity to go through the revolving door. And this is what's happening. You have this opening right here, okay? Whenever you're catching this video, you have this opening that may not come back around. I hear for some 100 years. And I plan on living for over 100 years. But however, I don't want to wait for 100 years. And some people, they have convinced people, I got a whole nother video about that. But anyways, that 100, like most people don't even live to 100 years old. That's crazy to me. But anyways, without going too far into that message, you have this opportunity, this window, and you have to properly apply yourself. I'm looking at the word here on my notes, application. You have submitted your application as an apprentice of the Divine Spirit. Your application was approved. You've been put through the apprenticeship program, and now it's time to be set free. Okay, you're being set free. Now, which will you choose? Now, these are like fire energies here. Okay, I mean, I know that this rules Capricorn, and Capricorn is earth energy, but here it is fire too. Okay, so the fire that can burn so heavy and so unruly that it incinerates everything around it. Relationships, finances, opportunities. Compared to this is the King of Wands, the Mastered. You see, they have the salamander right here, and it still has a lion. Okay, so it's like it's alchemy. Okay, so you have to be in alignment. You have to use your creative forces properly. Self-discipline. A king is a self-disciplined individual. To be able to rule over a kingdom, you have to be self-disciplined. Okay, and that's physical self-discipline, not just only mental and spiritual, but it's also physical discipline. So this could be a cause for someone to get their finances, but also I feel like their body in shape. And that's for health reasons. Okay, so I'm going to pull one other card from my oracle deck. These are scripture cards for daily Bible study or daily I am affirmations. They're I am that I am divine guidance cards. There are 45 of them, and you can find them on my Etsy shop, TikTok, and Instagram. Okay, staff and rod. Look what I tell you, baby, magic. All right, here we have a lot of fire energy on the board along with earth energy, but the King of Wands along with the staff and rod. I've broke down this card many times before, as this is a popular card that comes out. All right, your angels have cleared the path for you. Remain focused and stay inspired. Okay, focus. The king is focused. Look at him. He's focused. Him, her, take it how it resonates. Okay, they focused. All right, you see the salamander. The salamander represents this intuitive knowing, like a sensor. Salamanders are like, they're sensitive to their environment, or a chameleon. That's a salamander. They're sensitive to the environment, but I'm also called to a chameleon, one that can blend in with the environment, sense the temperature of the room, of the atmosphere, and blend in. All right, rod and staff represented by the wand, and that's self-mastery, self-discipline. Okay, I'm telling you, these opportunities are once in a lifetime. Okay, that's coming through. All right, this Moses is another figure that is hot, I hear, in this energy. Moses. Okay, so maybe go touch up on some symbolism, some stories surrounding Moses and his workings of magic. Look, I just so happened to cut the deck. Well, I cut the deck, but then I looked at the bottom of the deck. Was the Queen of Wands, okay, and the Six of Cups in the reverse. So I did have a message recently involving the Six of Cups, but look, this is a couple. So if you are a divine partner, look at that. The black cat represents the shadow self, but it also can represent intuition. Okay, but look, the salamander is facing the black cat. This could be like the high priestess energy. If you look at the symbolism of the throne, you see the two pillars. It's much like, and you have the sunflowers. Is it sunflowers? Or well, yeah, sunflowers behind her. Okay, so this is much like the high priestess card. Okay, and look, this divine masculine, he can, his nostrils wide open. He can spiritually sense his divine feminine. All right, you got him wide open. All right, here we have the Six of Cups in the reverse. So with the Six of Cups, it's like spirit. That's what it's saying. The divine spirit is saying that this is happening in the spiritual realms, and he is hot on it. Almost like, how like a lion will chase down its prey. But I don't mean that like in a predatory manner, but it's like he's hot on the trail. Like he can sense, he knows that you are his divine feminine, and that you guys have a spiritual connection and that it is meant to be. All right, for those that are divine partners. Okay, let me see. So it could have been over. You know what? It's been stuff over the period of time, but there's definitely a high connection confirmation during the next during this lunation and over the past several lunations. But that ball drop also is connected to this divine partnership for those that are, you know, in the twin flame, kingdom spouse, divine partner realms. Okay, so with the stud, the staff and the rod, this is the couple. Okay, the staff and the rod, while they may seem to be the same on, you know, the surface, because they're both for fire energies, these are both representations of the wand in the Bible and also other texts, but they're different. Okay, you have the rod, which is just a straight up stick. I'm not going to even say that. I'm not going to say what I was going to say. And then you have the staff, which is curved. The staff is the divine feminine, the curve, much like the womb. But like I've seen some staffs that curve over almost like a ankh, but minus like this part that goes horizontal. And then I've seen, like, of course, like how to make it less obvious, it's like a half circle at the top or whatever. And then you have like the staff, just like, well, the rod, just like that. And it is divine feminine and divine masculine. It's sexual energy. Okay, this is, they could be thinking hot and heavy about the divine feminine. Okay, but we're gonna leave it there. All right, I'm gonna dive deeper into this energy, as well as with these cards for almost like for the new year, but it's surrounding this lunation, but they're of course timeless. I'm gonna dive into finances, health, love, and spirituality or career, spiritual path, career. And then I'm also going to, you know, use these cards since they decided to come out. All right. Okay, so I believe that is it. I will be posting a ritual on my other channel, the School of Biblical Divination and Magic. You can check that channel out. Every lunation, I will have like some form of a ritual or instructional that helps you to tap into your divine purpose, your magic, to master yourself. I have plenty of educational information surrounding, of course, biblical divination and magic, you know. So you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget my latest book. And I know I will be doing another book really soon. I can feel it. It's coming. I'm just deciding which one. It may just dive deeper into biblical divination and magic as far as the rituals, specific rituals that are found in the Bible. Or either I may do a divine feminine of the Bible. And I have like herbalism, symbolism, and ancient medicine. So I'm still trying to figure out which book I'm supposed to focus on yet. So, you know, definitely like, share, and subscribe. Definitely follow me on Instagram and TikTok, as well as all the platforms. I don't always share the same information across platforms. So, you know, don't want to miss anything. Books, Amazon, as well as books and oracle decks, oils, etc. PDF downloads on my Etsy, and then on my other platforms. So you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you have a wonderful new year. Definitely plant these seeds for this new year during this new moon. This is a great time to go into the shadow self, and really pull out, de-weed your garden, pretty much. Another thing about this lunation I did not mention is the fact that this is a cold moon, meaning that it's the second new moon of a calendar month. And it is a great opportunity to really plant those seeds that will flourish over the next several months. This is not technically the real new year, as the real new year starts in spring equinox, which I will do. I do have a video about Aries season and about spring equinox here on this channel, FD 1111 Ministries. But I will also do a video for that. Okay, so I'll talk to you guys later. Many blessings. Peace.